Yo guys, what's up? What's good? I hope everyone's doing good, everyone's keeping safe and healthy. So this is a different kind of content game I'm exploring or trying out because again, it's 2024. I mean, if I didn't have this kind of content, then I'm a DJ and producer, bro. Yes, I'm weird. Anyways, this is basically the story of Roka Fela. And I'm going to tell you from, obviously you're not going to hear this anywhere else. I'm acting as if I'm a big shot, but yeah. Anyways, I just thought I'd feel cool, fake it till you make it type of vibe. But anyways, these are questions that nobody asked for, but I'm going to be answering anyways. The main three questions being, why did I stop Roka Fela? What was happening in 2020 going to quitting? And then why return? And then what's also going to happen with the other project, which I'm also going to delve into a little bit. So this might be a little bit of a long type of format thing. I'm going to try to, I can't speak English. I'm trying to keep it concise, right? And just get straight to the point. So to understand why I quit, we need to rewind the clock back to 2020. We all know, we all have this trauma of the pandemic and how we were affected by it. And at that point in time, the music I was making was tailored towards the festivals. I had this goal in mind of let me make music that if I were to play a festival, this is what I would play. And the goal at the beginning of 2020 was to start playing festivals because 2019 was a pretty dope year for me. I mean, I achieved one of my lifelong goals was to be on national radio, and I did it on 5FM. Awesome radio station. Shout out Das Capital and everybody there. The opportunities that were there afforded me the chance to up my game where I was at the time in Australia. So I lived in Australia, for those of you who don't know. And the year before that, I had a club residency at a LGBTQ IA plus friendly establishment. I just need to make sure I got all the letters across there. I don't offend anyone. But I had a residency at that establishment called Pride of Footscray. And that went on for, I believe it was 6 weeks or so. It was just just take a chance. I started off with barely 20 people to about 200 people at the end of the 6 weeks. So it was I was coming off a high, and at that point in time I was making ad hoc gigs and different establishments and whatnot around Melbourne. And I felt that 2020 was the year to step up, coming from the high of 2019 of, you don't get featured twice on national radio, someone who's upcoming like myself, or someone who's just trying to get their feet established into the industry. It's not every day that you get this opportunity to use the exposure and really make a name for yourself. And that's what I was good. That's basically what the plan was. Then the pandemic happened. And at the beginning it was, we all know how it went, but for me it was just a couple of weeks. But then it became a month, 2 months, 3 months. And then that year I did a charity live stream where I was DJing for 2 hours on Instagram Live at an event called Groove Your Mind. I think it was really successful. I mean, people donated money. It was really good. It was for a good cause, because it was for Beyond the Blue, which is a Australian charity that's specializing in mental health. And we were able to donate and raise quite a lot of funds for it. So it felt good, just to do something when everybody is just in this weird abyss of the unknown, what's going to happen and whatnot. But then I moved back to South Africa, and I think this is where the problem of Roka Fela that I had at the time started to arise. And that was that the music I was making then, as I mentioned, was geared for the festival, that type of stuff. But there was no festivals to look forward to or to play for. And the environment that I was making music in at the time was, you know, my goals and the industry and the scene aligned to that. And coming back to South Africa, where it's a completely different environment, I was actually removed from, like, I was actually alienated for a bit, just trying to catch up with what happened in South Africa the last 3 years, because I was not there for it, you know. At the time, being introduced to Mapiano, Deep House, Afrotech. I mean, I was always a fan of like Afro House, Afrotech, but never really into it. Then to, you know, dabbling in those genres while still, you know, maintaining the Roka Fela brand, but I realized there was a huge disconnect as to what I was making at the time, which was this big main stage electro, big room EDM here, and where I was going sonically with this new bubble that I'm experimenting with. So at the time, it made sense to stop Roka Fela and quit Roka Fela entirely and start a new project, because it felt like I wasn't being honest with myself, keeping the Roka Fela name, when the intention with Roka Fela was to always go big or go home, you know. Tomorrowland, Ultra, Coachella, like massive aspirations. And that's when I started the Masher.YF project. And that project allowed me to express myself more freely, you know, without this barrier and limitation that I'd created for myself in creating music. But then as time went on with the MyShow.YF project, I ended up making more EDM, and it was more of like a fresh revamp of, if Roka Fela was making music and releasing music at that time, this is what it would have sounded like. And I have a couple of releases under the Masher.YF project where you can point out and you can tell like this was made under the Roka Fela hat, but it wasn't never released with the name Roka Fela, because again, in my mind, the project was dead. Another thing that also happened was that I had a conversation with my older brother, and shout out to him, by the way, and he was basically saying that the biggest mistake I've ever done in my entire journey of being a artist and music producer was quitting Roka Fela. And I was like, wait, what do you mean quitting? And he gave me the laydown of it, and that conversation just played in my mind. Like, I never stopped thinking about that conversation, what he was saying, and it got to a point where I was like, damn, he's on to something. And then it finally clicked earlier this year. I think it was in April. I started toying with the idea again, because now the music I was making as Masher.YF was starting to sound a lot more like the Roka Fela of pre-2020. But with all the years, you know, the couple of years of experience, the growth, the maturity, and it finally clicked in May that it only makes sense to revive the project. But if I'm reviving the project, we're going to have a plan. We're going to have something. Because back then I was just making music for the love of it, for vibes, you know, just putting out whatever I wanted to, you know. And I sat with myself. I started drawing down ideas. I started basically making a mood board of like, what's Roka Fela going to represent? What does Roka Fela stand for? What type of music does Roka Fela want to make? And this is when the music started to make much more sense, and there was a sense of direction, and there was a plan in place. So I said, okay, if I'm going to do the Roka Fela thing, I'm going to do it correctly. I need to release fresh material. I need to do bootlegs. I got to do mixes that contain majority of my own productions. Like, I need to do this proper. So from May up until I think now, yeah, so whenever you're watching this video on whatever platform this may be on, there was just a lot of weekends just making music, and sorry, I just need to make sure I'm still recording. Okay, I'm still recording. So this is as raw as it comes. I'm trying to come off as, not as someone who's like, hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, like and subscribe. What the fuck was that? This is just me, one take, raw dogging this thing, right? With the mic. I'm trying to be professional here. Anyways, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, as I was saying, if I'm doing Roka Fela, I need to do this correctly. And how does that look like? That's when I started making music, and why return? The why is that I now want to make music that I can feel someone else can also be like, yeah, no, this really, even if it's a club banger or it's a slow ballad, it doesn't matter. Like, I want people to feel like the music moved them, it touched them, and made them go, damn boy, you got some talent, son. And this is why I'm back. The music that I'm making now is purely because there's a plan in place. I have a strategy in mind. And look at me maturing, having a plan and strategy, like, ooh. But most importantly, I'm having fun again making music. I'm not chasing the virality. I'm not chasing followers. I'm not chasing streams. For me, it's fun. It's fun to create this content. It is fun to make music, send mixes out, and I enjoy it, and if I can help someone else who's in my position with this, then I'm doing my job into being inspirational, just being myself and sharing good vibes and positivity. So that's basically where I'm at right now with Roka Fela, is that it's all about the music. It's all about, sharing that love and passion and letting it translate on the dance floor, on the podcast mixes, on the radio, wherever you may hear my music. And, that's where I'm at right now. Now, what's going to happen with Masha.Rav? Well, Masha.Rav is still going to be existing. I mean, this is going to be something that if I produce something that's like so left field, I'll just put it under the Masha.Rav banner. Roka Fela can still maintain the integrity of the intention, while also having the choice and option to creatively explore myself in a creative and free way under the Masha.Rav name. And that's pretty much why the story and where we're at right now, this is exactly what it is. It all culminates, I don't know which word, I can't speak. It all comes to this point. So if you've watched this far, I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Like, this means a lot. I'm not taking this for granted. I really appreciate you. And just know that in the next couple of days, couple of weeks, maybe couple of months, but it might be consistent, it might not be consistent, I don't know. You're going to see a lot more of me in this type of format, just yapping away. So yeah, I just want to say thank you for all the love and support. I appreciate you guys. Go stream AM ROKA fucking Fela. It's on Mixcloud. Hit the link in my bio. 100% Roka Fela Productions. Like, you guys do not understand how crazy it is for me to say that. I never thought this was possible. 2018, 2019, 2020, me never thought this was possible. But here we are, 2024, with 100% Roka Fela Productions mix. Like, let's go. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy the mix, and I'll be back when I don't know what I'll do, but I'll be back at some point. Cheers.